And Charlotte got in. I was so happy for them.
Have a seat.
It's really great.
All right, we are ready to begin. Just a reminder to silence your cell phones if you would, if you haven't already, and no flash photography here during any press conference. First up today is number 8 seed Miami Hurricanes. They will play the 11:30 game tomorrow morning on ESPN2 against the number 9 seed USF Bulls. We are joined now by head coach Katie Meyer. The student athletes will join us after Katie. Coach Meyer, if you'd go ahead and make an opening statement, and we'll open up for questions.
Well, first of all, just a bunch of gratitude for being invited and for the city of Columbia and this university for hosting us. We are thrilled to be here. We will take advantage of every opportunity that we're given to play basketball, and I have a team that's just full of joy, full of grit, a lot of toughness to us, and we're going to lace them up and get ready to play. We are really, really fired up for this opportunity.
And with that, we'll open up for questions from the floor. Jeffrey, please use the microphone if you would. Thank you.
Katie, Jeffrey Collins with the Associated Press. How important in coaching is it to have a team that's hot, to have a team that's coming in on a hot streak like y'all are, that have won?
Right.
How vital is that?
Well, we lost our last one, okay? So I'll take some of that. It was nice to be playing well in March, but it was also, as a coach, we lost our last game. And so we had their attention because it was quite a break in the way we run our ACC tournament. It was nice to play in the championship. It was nice to get a couple extra games in. But we're not where we want to be. We want to have cut down a net. And so I do feel like we matured as a team more than – I think we grew. I really haven't studied it, but I think if you took a snapshot mid-February of all the teams in the country and then which team just popped up and just really surprised people from mid-February on, we had the most growth. Us, maybe Kentucky, but we had volume of games left because we had a 25-day COVID break. So while we're sitting there mid-February, I don't know how many wins we had in the ACC, but you looked at the standings and you're like, wow, we're at the bottom. I like my team. I kept saying, I like my team. But then it was like, well, we still have 10 games left. So we had to go Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, Tuesday. We had to do 4 games in 8 days, quite a bit, and 10 games in 23 days to end the season. And those 10 games, we went 8-2. So wow, right? But we would have maybe had the same record or better had it was just a timing thing. So we are hot, we are surging, but we had to because we played 10 games in 23 days recently. That was incredible. And going 8-2 and the 2 losses being NC State and the other one at Virginia Tech, which is a great team, that's a really good stretch.
Jeffrey?
And, well, you mentioned this stretch. Has it been nice to have a break, though? I mean, does your team need this time to rest and recover to it in a way?
Forget the team. The coaches need it. We were dying. I mean, that was something. I have 2 new assistant coaches that happen to be 2 people that I just consider some of my best friends in the world anyway. One's the next player and one's one of my best friends in the world. And so with 2 new assistants and 6 new players, and it was like a little bit of mayhem. And to wake up on that Monday after the ACC tournament and be like, what just happened? I mean, being very, very honest, I'm a veteran coach. I could not believe that stretch. And the pressure, every game was a postseason game. We had to win every game. And so we went through that. We got a little bit of a rest, but heck, it's recruiting contact period too. So off we went, recruiting, while the kids were resting. The players had a couple days off. Coaches were trying to make Miami better. So it's been a push.
Coach, could you talk a little bit about your familiarity with USF prior to this week and also maybe some keys to the game?
Well, one of the first texts, Jose and I texting each other at the same time when the bracket came out. We are very familiar. I actually had a symposium back in 2017 where I just invited some coaches I really respected to Miami, and we hosted it, put them up in a hotel, brought in some administrators, brought in a guest speaker, and really had like a X and O. But, I mean, we shared everything, and Jose was one of those coaches. And we scrimmage them every year, except for these last 2 COVID years. We'll meet somewhere. So it's funny. The last time we played them apparently was in Anchorage, Alaska, which I remember my AD going, "You're going to Anchorage to a game you could drive to?" I said, we signed a contract first, right? So, and then now here. So that's the last time we've played them in a game. But we are very familiar and tons of respect. I'm really happy for actually all the state of Florida. What a representation of of all of our universities that are all in the tournament this year.
Jeffrey?
Katie, looking behind you, there's March Madness logos. It's a different tournament this year, supposedly. How has it been? Have you seen a difference in how the women have been treated? Have the travel arrangements been better? Have the hotels been better? I mean, the NCAA has promised to come through with some improvements.
We've been fortunate. The last couple we hosted, so that's kind of the last one we were in, I think we hosted. Is that correct? And Miami did a heck of a job, let me tell you. So I feel like I'm sure there will be. That's the last thing that I'm thinking about right now. But I do like the March Madness logo. I do like that, and I do like that 68 teams were in the tournament. I think that was huge. There was no reason not to do it, and it just kept not being done. So the fact that it's done now was a huge statement, but something that seemed like a ridiculous fight. That's a no-brainer. So I'm glad we finally got our brains together.
Joe?
You had mentioned that the players had a few days to kind of decompress from the tournament. How much of the last 48 hours have been game prep, and how much has just been kind of working on yourselves and getting yourselves mentally prepared for the weekend?
So I was so glad to be able to get back in the bubble, but our mental bubble, and have an opponent and have a routine and have it, and crank up. Really, really, the bear came out. I'm the bear. I totally have been a bear the last couple days to increase the internal pressure within my team, understanding. I put them in a circle. I said, listen, inside of this circle, there's got to be so much pressure because when we leave and we go play somewhere else, the external pressure is going to try to push us in, and we're not going to let it. But I'm here, and I'm screaming at you, and I'm pushing, and you need to push. All of us need to push this internal pressure to keep us in a zone that we were at the last time we played. And so I'm tired because I've been mad woman, just really trying to get after them because they know and I know and the staff knows what it takes to push this team to get that grit and get that toughness. And that's where I want to be when we tip tomorrow.
Coach, a lot of times in a tournament it comes down to matchups.
Right.
How do you feel about this, especially in an 8-9 game? Obviously two teams, at least somebody thinks are pretty evenly matched.
Right.
How do you feel about going into this contest specifically?
Yeah, I think we played ourselves into an 8-9 game, which some people say that's not always a great deal. So I know that the 8 and the 9 have both beaten a 1 seed this year. So this is an incredible matchup, right? Who else has beaten a 1 seed this year that's at a 1 seed? So that's incredible that draw happened because South Florida, and I watched it, they beat Stanford in the Bahamas. We were there, right? And we beat Louisville as a 1 seed. So I think you have this incredible bracket where both of us are playing each other. And if I'm South Carolina sitting there going, well, how, Kentucky's beating a 1 seed, they're a 7. So that's kind of the thing I think that is the story of this particular bracket.
Other questions? If anyone is watching on Zoom and has a question, please use the raise hand function. Seeing none. Coach, I think you can go.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow.
Oh, I probably should take this glass in case Kelsey tries to drink out of it. Thank you.
All right, joined now by the Miami student athletes, Destiny Harden, Kelsey Marshall, and Carla Ariavets. And we'll just open it up for questions for the three student athletes. Joe?
This is a very competitive regional. You got two very quality 8-9 seeds, and then obviously South Carolina is the #1 overall seed. Do you as players kind of see the overall picture, or is it more just focusing on the one game at a time?
Destiny, why don't you go ahead and start, and then we'll just go down the line.
No, all season we always focus on just be where your feet at, meaning like just play the game that we have in front of us. So we just take it one game at a time and focus on our next opponent after the game we play.
Kelsey?
Yeah, same as Destiny. Just focusing each game one at a time. Don't get too ahead of ourselves, and whatever comes after comes after.
Carla?
As they both of them mentioned, it's just one game at a time, seeing what we can do in that one game, and then whatever comes next, we'll fight it after.
Jeffrey?
Coach mentioned the stretch y'all had where y'all played a bunch of games in a bunch of days. Now you've had about 2 weeks off. I mean, which would you prefer? Would you prefer to have had another game in 2 days after this, or do you like having that break where you're able to kind of regroup and get yourself back together?
Let's start on the other end with Carla.
I guess everything has its positives and negatives. We got used to playing a lot of games in a small period of time, but we also got used to not playing for a period of time. So I think we experienced both, and it's good that we got our legs back under us after that 4 games in 4 day stretch, and we're ready and rested.
Same thing as Carla, basically. No matter how many days off we have, if we have 1, 2, or none, I feel like we're all prepared. What's to come for that game, and yeah.
Yeah, just like they both said, we experienced 4 days and 4 games or 23 days off. So I guess we prepared for both.
Joe?
Kelsey, for you specifically, obviously the tournament run was great, not the result at the end that you wanted, but some great wins to kind of get the week going. What did you learn about the team through that run to make that kind of deep run into the tournament?
I learned that we're very gritty and we never give up. We go into every game no matter what a team's ranking is, if they're above us, below us. We're always going to come out and compete and always trying to win. And we love working together. We love working hard, and that's it, yeah.
Destiny?
Same as Kelsey, like we come into the game as underdogs. So, I mean, I like that because we don't have no pressure. Coach always say a lot to gain, nothing to lose. So, if we gain a lot, then, there's just really our confidence is up for the next game.
Carla?
I mean, whatever game you come into is 0-0 at the beginning, and at the end of the day, who scores more points or gets more stops will win the game. So every game we approach it as 0-0 and see where it takes us.
Jeffrey?
You and UCF fairly close together, play fairly frequently. Do you know some folks on the other team? I mean, are there some people that you've had texting back and forth or something like that, talked about tomorrow's game with?
I wouldn't say text about or talked about, but as we all know, USF is a really international team, just like we are. And I personally played on a lot of national team competitions against all of those players that play there. So we're pretty familiar with players itself, but not with the system. We haven't faced them this year, but I think it'll be a fun game.
Kelsey?
Yeah, I played high school with Maria Alvarez a couple years ago, so I've texted her, DM'd her on Instagram. It's going to be a fun one. We're not on the same team this time, but we're competing against each other, so it should be fun.
I'm the opposite. I haven't played or I don't know anyone on their team, so it should be a good game.
Jeffrey?
I apologize. I said text and I instantly felt old. I figure y'all have a much easier, better way of talking. But one other question I wanted to ask y'all is, I guess, about Dawn Staley. I mean, she's been around long enough and done enough and rose to this level where she's at right now. Is it an extra boost to be able to come here and to see her and to maybe get to meet her and talk to her, when she's somebody that's become this face of women's basketball?
Destiny, you want to start?
Yeah, actually, a couple years back, the USA basketball was held at our arena, and she was there, and she talked with her. So it was good meeting her then, but playing in the arena is also like a famous arena, so I think I felt honored to play here, and also excited to, just compete at one of the highest level in, women's basketball.
Kelsey?
Yeah, same as Destiny. We met her a couple years ago at UM. She talked to us a little bit about work ethic and just being a great player overall. I'm extremely grateful and blessed to be able to come here and play on a court where she's gotten, a lot of wins.
Carla?
I mean, she's just been a coach that's been raising the standard for all female coaches and the NCAA and in general. And it's just a blessing, and I feel really humbled to be here. I feel really excited to play in front on the court where she's coaching, and I really look forward to it.
For those of us who haven't seen either of your two teams play, I'm curious what you feel the keys to the game to win tomorrow are. What coach has been pounding this week that we have to do this to have success. Kelsey, you want to start?
Yeah. For this game, we really have to, box out and rebound. Play really hard defense, cover for 40 hard minutes, leave nothing on the floor, and just work together.
Destiny?
Yes, Coach literally just got a film, and she just keep telling us how aggressive they're going to play. And so I think I locked that in because we're an aggressive team also. So the most aggressive team is the team that's going to come out with the win.
And Carla?
The only other thing I would say is just be Miami. That's what Coach always talks us about. Let's be who we are. Let's do what we do best, and let's take away their strengths, but make sure we put our strengths ahead and show who we actually are.
When the bracket was first released, I'm curious, obviously everybody's excited to be in, but then you look at it and you see that the number one seed overall is in your bracket and possible second game. I'm just wondering, mindset of that, or is it just focus on the first game, we'll worry about Sunday?
Yeah, no, we always want to focus on the first game, because you just got to take it one game at a time. We also see that we are going to face the number one team if we win this game, and we also face the number one team in the ACC. So we're familiar with number one teams, so we just got to stay confident and just believe in ourselves.
Kelsey?
Yeah, same as Destiny. We just got to focus on this first game that we have, and the next game will come. But I don't think none of us are, scared or timid of the next game that would come. But excited, and hopefully we can be good.
Carla?
I mean, like they both said, we face number one seeds. The two number one seeds are in the ACC. We're from the ACC, and we faced them 4 times this year, 2 times NC State, 2 times Louisville. And I don't think nobody on this team is intimidated of it. And we just got to take one step at a time, see what tomorrow brings, and then focus on Sunday after that.
Any other questions? Good? I don't see any from the Zoom, so I think we're good to go. Appreciate it, girls. Good luck
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Thank you.